I'm Dan from Ish24 and I'm going to show you how to assemble the Carbon Fibre Rescue Frame. We'll start off with what's in the bag. Alright, so once you grab your poles out of the bag, you'll have 8 short poles and 2 long poles. If we're building the large frame, all the twos go together. So the 2 long poles go together, 2 short, 2 short, 2 short to make the one. If you're building a small frame, then it's only one of each to build that frame. And you'll have a little ISH bag in here which has all your hardware and bits and pieces, all the joiners and stuff we'll need to build the poles. Connecting pin. Connecting pin we use to join the 2 poles. Done. Easy. I like to make sure all the pins are running the same way. It doesn't actually mean anything other than it looks much prettier once it's built. So on your 4 short poles, you want to use a couple of these ends. Now the difference is the angles, right? So one's a left, one's a right. When they're in, we want them assembled, so our load point can sit on that. If you do them the wrong way around, which I've got to try and do deliberately like that, they're offset and it won't work. Cool? So one left, one right for each end. Cool. Oh, I need to go this way so they're all running the same way. Done. Cool, so in the bag you have your 2 feet. Should be pre-assembled. You'll need those 2, but then there's 2 cables. A short cable for building the short frame and a long cable for building the long frame. We're about to build the long frame right now. So with your foot base, you've got a connecting pin going through. You want to make sure that my anchor point is on the inside, and pretty much you'll get 2 carabiners with this. That goes straight in like such. And then if we pull it out so it's firm, that is the distance we need to work with right there. So each one of your poles should have all the short ones, should have one of these on the end, okay? And then the other bit goes onto the foot. Short pole goes onto your foot. Right, pin in, cool, flip over, resting down. Angus, in mate, let's go. Right, we're going to lay him down. Nice. Right out, on your 2 long poles, you want to put the load point on the end and run the pin through. All right, so we want to now put the load point into the 2 ends. Cool, you need to make sure that these grooves are lined up so you haven't got them backwards. It's easier here to do it one at a time. Bring this one up, sits in, and then the pin goes through. Up a bit, Angus, please. That's it, done. Second one, pin goes through, and that end is now complete. You got him? Right, Angus, that's perfect. Okay, so once it's flipped over, line up your holes again. Do one at a time, it's much easier. 1, 2, put my 3rd one down. In, pins in, done. It's now assembled. So a couple of things you need to do, make sure that cable's nice and taut, that's the perfect spot. And if you see here at this end up here, once it's assembled, that cable is taut, so it locks in perfectly here. Now we need to rig the frame itself after it's been built. On the end, you can either run a double pulley or a 2 single pulleys. I'm going to show you how to rig it with a double pulley and put in a little bit of backup onto it. All right, using a double pulley at this end, straight through to the end. Always build from the tail. Grab your first rope. That's going to be the tail. On, check, cool. Second rope angus, different colour please. Backup line, rig through the pulley. Done. Because we only have one point of contact here, you can run two single pulleys. Single pulley, that's your redundancy. Another thing I do if I'm running a double is I just use a chain of carabiners, capture my lines, run that through there, and that way, if there's ever an issue, we're going to capture it. Cool. All right, two single pulleys please, Angus. So then we want to do our redirects. We come off this same point. Just goes through the front of that anchor point, like such. Open, and we're done. And that's going to be my redirect down now to my anchor points down the back. I'm just going to use this ISH rope bag as my load for now. Cool. So that's my load done. Now we want to assemble this frame always away from any open edge. At this point is now when we can take it to the edge, right, and set it up for rigging for hauling. Right, we're going to use the forklift as an anchor point for demonstration purposes only. We wouldn't use it in real life this way, but I am in a shed and I have limited anchor points. Cool. So then we rig our clutch. This is for our lowering and raising line. Right, so we do two of those, one for your main, one for your backup. Done. Next one, Angus. Cool. So you can put just a little bit of tension on them to keep it nice and neat and out of the way. Now we want to rig our frame, okay? For rigging the rescue frame itself for the raising and lowering, not of our load, but of our frame, tilting it forward, I like to run a 2-to-1 off this. So pretty much anchor point. Done. Into my frame. Another carabiner, I guess. Into my descender. Back to my anchor point. So now the frame is completely rigged. All right, so I can raise. Darcy, you want to go forward for me, mate? Cool, go forward. Just tilt past that. Bit of load on my frame. Let it go, Darcy. Done. So once the frame is assembled, cool. My load right up through my redirect. I've used a double pulley in this case. It can be two single pulleys. I always use a bit of backup in it, so I've got my little chain of carabiners just in case. Comes down through my redirect, back to my raising and lowering system. Cool. And then on the frame itself, I build a little 2-to-1 just for raising and lowering, so if I'm short on people, I can get that done. So how I like to set this frame up is I like to not go past level if I possibly can. Also in the bag of 4 ratchet straps. All the energy and effort of this thing, once you start hauling with a proper load on it, it does want to move backwards, okay? So always secure the feet either through pins through into the ground, many holes to choose from, or I use ratchet straps off to anything I possibly can, forward and rear. Try to make it as stable as you possibly can, but we are looking about forward is the main thing, because we don't want this thing sliding backwards every time you put in some effort. All right, so when we're tightening it up, we just want it firm, that's all. So any effort that we put in, it's locked in here on both sides, so it can't be pulled backwards. All right, this is all secured now. Just to show the demonstration, right, on how far they can come. It's about 400 past that line, so pretty much, and you can do this manhandling this, pull that slack out of that line though, but you want to pull it back. It'll keep coming. It should come back at least a metre, 1.2 metres all the way, back over the edge. Go forward again, using that line as my edge. Right, we are now back over that edge. So there's 1.2 metres of travel over an edge. Yep. Rightio, so that is how we assemble the rescue frame. A couple of key takeaways is always check all your pins, do your archer checks properly before you start using it. Make sure you build it away from the edge and then take it to the edge. Always build from the tail. and then run your redirects. Always make sure we've got that effort controlled, whether it's through pins or through straps. Other than that, have fun.